The first 3 episodes of Andor premiere on Disney Plus in only 2 more days, and I am beyond excited for the series. I wasn't immediately hooked on the character of Cassian Andor when he was first introduced in Rogue One, but for me it's the era that the series is set in that gets me excited. It takes place in the 5 years before A New Hope, where the Rebel Alliance is in its earliest stages. The Andor series will focus on Cassian Andor's journey to discover the difference he can make in the galaxy, and how different people and planets become involved in the fight against the Empire. The first season will be 12 episodes, longer than both The Mandalorian and The Book of Boba Fett, which I am particularly a fan of. I think it gives the series time to tell an intricate and exciting story, while still developing a wide cast of characters. Because Andor is set during the time period where so many of the characters we know are alive and out in the galaxy, there are an infinite amount of familiar characters that could make appearances, either as small cameos or in a significant role. Familiar characters that are already confirmed to appear based on the footage shown and interviews include Cassian Andor, Mon Mothma, and Saw Gerrera, but I think it's almost guaranteed that more will find their way into the show. Some I am really looking forward to, and some I hope stay out of the series, at least for the first season. The first character that I would like to appear in Andor is one that I think many other fans are looking forward to as well. In my opinion, it just makes sense for Baylor Ghana to have a role in the series, one larger than just a small cameo. If you saw my video last week about Baylor Ghana, then you know just how important he is to the Rebel Alliance and its formation. He had a major role in fighting back against the Empire, both in the Imperial Senate and across the galaxy on relief missions. We know that part of the series will revolve around Mon Mothma and her role in the Imperial Senate, so it would make sense to include Organa as well. Both senators were also a part of the delegation of 2000. For those unaware, the delegation of 2000 was a group of concerned senators in the Galactic Senate, many of whom were part of the Loyalist Committee. These 2,000 individuals were concerned by the way in which Supreme Chancellor Chief Palpatine had waged the Clone Wars, along with his accumulation of executive powers and changes to the Galactic Constitution. The group created the Petition of 2000, which formally protested Palpatine's actions and demanded that he return to the Senate the emergency powers he had claimed following the conclusion of the war. The petition notably demanded the abrogation of the Sector Governance Decree, which Palpatine had used to instill governors across sectors of the galaxy, which ultimately made the Senator's role futile. The day after the formation of the Empire, Imperial intelligence arrested 63 senators on charges of conspiracy and treason, several of whom were part of the delegation of 2000. So not only would it make sense for Baylor Ghana to appear alongside Mon Mothma as she fights against the Empire, but we could also see some of the many other senators who were also wary of Palpatine's grab at power during the Clone Wars. If I can only choose one unconfirmed character to appear in Andor, Baylor Ghana would undoubtedly be the one. Not only does it make sense and would probably add to the story, but he's also one of my favorite characters when it comes to everyday people in the galaxy choosing to do good. While I don't really have an opinion on her showing up or not, Organa's appearance would also open up the opportunity for a Leia cameo to occur. She'd be 14 during the first season, and she'd be 19 by the end of the second season, so they'd have to find a new actress to play the character, but a cameo definitely seems likely at some point. Even though I did say that I don't have any strong opinion on the fact, I do hope that if Leia appears, it is just a cameo and not a major one. I love the character, but I'd like to focus on some of the other lesser-known characters that chose to help the galaxy in different ways. Another character that I'd like to see make an appearance in Andor at some point is Palpatine. Like I said earlier, we know that Mon Mothma's aspect of the series will deal with politics and the Imperial Senate. I don't necessarily want Palpatine to become a main character in the series, and have a close-up scene with him and someone from our main cast, like confronting them personally in their office and threatening them. But I think it would be neat if he appeared at a distance during a senatorial meeting, and our characters have to deal with the repercussions of a major revelation or governmental decision. A small appearance from Palpatine would be a quick and easy way to establish grand stakes to Mon Mothma and whatever group of characters is around her. I don't know if we'll see K2SO in the first season of Andor, but his appearance seems inevitable. We've already seen the two characters meet in a one-shot comic, but from what I've heard, it isn't a very well-liked one by fans, and it would still make sense to either adapt it or retcon it into live action for a larger audience. The Rebel and Droid pair are mainstays in Rogue One, and by that time they have already developed a friendly relationship. In a series about Cassian Andor, it seems like a necessity to show fans how he and K2SO first met, and how the Imperial droid was reprogrammed to become a part of the Rebel Alliance. I think after Cassian is developed and has the audience's loyalty as the main character, introducing K2 as a strong supporting character would help advance Cassian's character even farther, and potentially broaden the show's audience even more, if there happened to be fans of Rogue One that weren't sold on a show about Cassian Andor only. Now, despite these characters that I'd love to make appearances in Andor, there's still got to be ones on the opposite side of the coin. Ones that I hope don't show up at all. These are much more personal for me, but I know there's probably at least a few other fans out there that share my sentiments. First off, I really don't want Obi-Wan Kenobi, or any other Force users, to make any appearance in Andor. We just got the Obi-Wan Kenobi series that dealt with him and Vader and the Inquisitors, and I just really want this series to be its own thing. I love the Force, and the Jedi and the Sith, but this doesn't seem like the series to include them in. Connective tissue only works when it adds to the story being told, and any character like Obi-Wan or Ahsoka will easily overshadow Cassian Andor and Mon Mothma, and characters like Vader or Inquisitors just seem like too large of villains to be dealt with by ordinary rebels. I know I'm contradicting myself here a little because I just said how I wanted Palpatine to appear, but my expectation is for that character to be used in a more political aspect, rather than show him with his red lightsaber and Force lightning. Force users and lightsabers are cool, but I just don't think they have a place in a political and spy thriller series. With Saw Gerrera making a short appearance in the Andor trailer, I saw speculation that Jin Erso could show up as well, but personally I'm against that notion. I just finished reading Rebel Rising, and I think for the most part, it wouldn't be against canon if she were to appear on a random planet, as long as she isn't with Saw. As it's stated in Rogue One, Saw left her on a mission and they don't see each other again until Jedha. Jin would be about 16 years old at this point, so based on the events in the novel, it's entirely possible that the events of Andor would lie during a time jump from her book, but personally I don't want to see that happen. At the time, Jin wants nothing to do with either the Empire or the Rebellion, both of which have caused death and destruction to those close to her. It also wouldn't make much sense for Rogue One if Jin and Cassian had previously met 5 years prior and just never mentioned it, although that would be something that they could easily explain away. To wrap this all up, any sort of clone trooper is something that I'm hoping doesn't appear in Andor. This one I'm more open to than the others, but at least with the way I'm imagining it in my head, it would just feel off for the series. Now of course, I'm saying this before the series even starts, but what I'm mainly thinking of is clones like Rex who stayed away from the Empire and chose to either live their own life or fight back. I could easily see some clones that become a part of the Empire acting against Cassian and crew, but with the series taking place 14 years after Order 66, most of them have been phased out already, so that seems unlikely at best. Now even though I've gone through what I do and don't want to see from Andor, I'm sure a character showing up or not showing up is not going to drastically affect my viewing experience of the series. This is just some responsible speculation and hopes for the series before it releases this week. Let me know what characters you think we'll see in Andor in the comments below. Remember to like the video and subscribe for more videos like this, as well as news reports, reviews, game playthroughs, and more. Thank you all for watching, and remember, the Force will be with you, always.